Hey you guys, today we're going to be breaking down both the Highwind and Stormflag form changes. These are associated with Strike form and are triggered by the Wheel of Fate Keyblade. Let's look at Highwind first. The transformation into Highwind starts with Sora jabbing his Keyblade forward with 3 quick strikes. These have air and water effects where the Keyblade jabs. On his third strike, he spins the Keyblade in his hand. At the end of this strike, the part where the sail starts to spin, and the rest of the Keyblade grows bigger. Sora brings the Keyblade over his head, and the wheel pops out of the Keyblade and starts to spin around Sora. Water also swirls around Sora as he flips upside down and twists above his spear. We never see the Keyblade transform into the spear, though. It just changes from the Keyblade to the spear suddenly. This golden ray of light spins around Sora during this part of the transformation. As the wheel comes back around in front of Sora, he flips right side up, pulling the spear up with him. The spear slots into the hole in the wheel, and the wheel spins into place. A bright flash of light happens, and the wheel actually becomes part of the spear, with the middle of the wheel now sporting a compass. Spikes come out here on the spear, and wood pieces fit into the spikes. A fleur-de-lis makes up the point of the spear. The logo shows the word Highwind, with it resting on a red flag. The spear is seen right behind that with a steering wheel and a flag flapping behind it. We can also see the rope that was seen on the Keyblade here as well. Red orbs and wisps of black cloth, I believe, fly up occasionally. A wind effect flies through the words, and a glint of light appears as well. The flag and rope in the background move as well on this logo. The combo for Highwind starts with Sora pulling back the spear and then dashing forward, thrusting the spear in front of himself with one hand. At the end of the attack, Sora brings back the spear, spinning it in front of himself. The same water, light, and air effects can be seen during this stab. You can also see a slash effect after the stab. This is the attack Sora does if he is far away from an enemy. The next attack is Sora holding the spear behind himself before bringing it around and diagonally upwards. There is a green effect left behind the spear as Sora slashes. After the uppercut, Sora holds the spear above his head, spinning before slashing the spear horizontally, pushing out a gold ring of light as well as the greenish effects from the spear. This is the same attack Sora does if he is surrounded by enemies. Sora then jumps into the air and twists, doing 2 vertical slashes and slamming the spear downwards with both hands. A burst of yellow air is pushed out that dissipates into a blue color. An arrow effect seems to be triggered during this attack. We see this effect with another attack, and it seems like this will push surrounding enemies up into the air. The first combo finisher has Sora kind of copying the first attack of the combo with a giant thrust forwards, although this time multiple copies of the spear thrust forward around Sora. At the end of the spear barrage, Sora spins and thrusts upwards. This creates a burst of light and sparks fly up. During the thrust, rays of light or air appear flying back around the original spear. The other combo finisher has Sora disappearing and teleporting upwards. When he reappears, he raises his arm as multiple spear copies shoot downwards. Sora follows them with the original spear, and at the end of the thrust, downwards, a burst of air shoots outwards. You can see another arrow effect during this attack with a cone of golden light or air around it. The same effect can be seen around the copy spears. Rays of light circle around during this attack, and if you're close enough to hit the ground, a giant X will appear on the ground. There are 2 situational attacks that are unique. If an enemy is above you, Sora will do a circling slash upwards, ending with him holding the spear pointing towards the sky. If the enemy is below you, Sora will spin the spear above himself before diving towards the ground. This also spawns a gold air effect that dissipates into a blue effect. The same arrow effect that has been seen in other attacks is also present here. You can see rays of light circle Sora during this attack too. After the attack, Sora flips backwards. This is the same attack that triggers when using the ground pound flow motion attack. Magic in this form change is changed to orbs. The higher the cast of magic, the larger the orb. The magic will not trigger until the orb either hits an object or an enemy. Also, during the cast of magic, the tip of the spear glows. Highwind has some movement tech that has changed. If you dodge while on the ground, Sora will dash forwards. This dodge has a really far reach. The air dodge and double flight animations are not changed. The block has Sora holding the spear out in front of himself with both hands on it. The idle animation for Highwind has Sora pointing the spear up diagonally before bringing it down in front of himself. He then spins it above his head before getting into a ready position. And that is all I really have for Highwind. Let's move on to Stormflag. The transformation into Stormflag starts with Sora flipping and holding the spear out in front of himself. The edge of the spear spins, including the fleur-de-lis, the wheel, as well as the spikes. The spikes push off the wooden pieces and they spin in the air as the front edge of the spear continues to spin. The wood pieces actually just seem to disappear during this transformation, as I can't seem to find them after this point here. Anyways, the wheel disappears by this point, and the spikes have become much longer. Sora guides the spear around himself as he spins. He catches onto the spear as a flag comes out of it. You can see the wheel appear here, and it seems to catch back onto the spear like it did during the transformation into Highwind. At the end of the transformation, Sora holds the flag above his head, showing the logo on the flag as a steering wheel. The only other thing I noticed during this transformation were the air and light effects circling Sora. The logo has the word Storm Flag, with the flag on the Formchange flapping behind it. An air effect moves through the words, as well as a glint of light appears under the word Storm. Red and white orbs as well as black cloth fragments fly around the words. During the finisher, the background gets more chaotic with the wheel spinning and the flag flapping around. Moving on, the combo starts with Sora jumping up and flipping before slashing down over his head with the flag. This is the attack that triggers if Sora is above an enemy as well. There is a red streak that follows behind all of the attacks in this form change. The next attack has Sora flipping the flag as he whips it from side to side. At the end of the attack, he continues to flip the flag but spins with it. He never actually touches the flag during this attack. Instead, he moves it around telekinetically. The next attack is a sweeping AoE attack where Sora swipes outwards with his flag and slowly moves the trajectory of the flag upwards. This is also the attack Sora does if he is below an enemy or is surrounded by enemies. Sora then swipes upwards in a slashing strike before doing 2 flipping slashes. The combo finisher has Sora spinning the flag above his head before thrusting it forward. This creates a torrent of air in front of and around Sora. The flag also glows brightly during this attack. At the end of the attack, we can see the air move forward as Sora spins the flag and catches it. The only unique attack is if an enemy is far away from Sora, which is a strike rate-esque attack. Sora whips the flag forward, sending it spinning towards enemies. After it reaches a certain distance, Sora will call the flag back to himself and do a spinning slash forward. There is a golden burst of air that dissipates to blue. Magic while in this form change is an AoE style of magic. The higher the cast of magic, the larger the reach of the magic will be. More casts of magic will circle them as well. The Za magic is also changed. Pyraza is just a larger cast of fire with energy arcing up from the ground. Waterza summons a whirlpool around Sora. Blazaza has multiple casts of blizzard circling Sora. Thundaza has a ring of lightning surrounding Sora before a giant bolt of energy comes down in the center. Eraza is just a larger cast of arrow. Also, the tip of the flag glows during casts of magic. I know I didn't spend a whole lot of time covering the magic in both Storm Flag and Highwind, but if you want to see a full breakdown of all the magic, click the card in the corner of the video. I go into much more detail in that breakdown. Movement tech is the same as the Highwind form change. If you dodge on the ground, Sora will do a far-reaching dash. The air dodge and double flight animations are not changed, and the block is the same block that the Highwind uses. The idle animation has Sora sweeping the flag one way before sweeping it back the other way twice and resting it on his shoulder. The shot lock for Storm Flag is actually really similar to the Blizzard Blade shot lock. Sora slashes at enemies with his flag, which damages enemies that are either close to Sora or were targeted during the shot lock. I like the animation for the Storm Flag shot lock much better though, especially this part where Sora spins the flag above his head and then moves it to the side of himself before a giant horizontal slash. The finisher has Sora slashing at enemies around himself before raising the flag above his head, of course spinning it, before slamming it down to the ground. This creates a burst of light from the point hit on the ground, and water explodes from the ground. Tentacles rise upwards out of the ground, and if you pause it here, you can see a stream of water spiraling around Sora. This is usually seen when Sora is casting the water magic. Also during the finisher, Sora's entire weapon glows a bluish color. This makes me think that this is a cast of water that Sora is manipulating into the Kraken tentacles. Also during Sora's combo finisher, his flag glows as well. So maybe he's manipulating air in that one. Anyways, the tentacles slam down onto the ground, damaging anything close enough to it. At the end, the tentacles lose their shape and the water falls back down to the ground. And that is all I have for the breakdown. Now let me give my thoughts and opinions on these form changes. I really like Storm Flag. All the attacks are so smooth, and the way Sora adds in all the spins with the flag is awesome. It's really interesting to see Sora use telekinesis so much while in this form change. I also like that we got another strike rate-esque attack from Storm Flag. The Highwind had some of the coolest combo finishers I have seen in this game. It shows that Sora can use what I assume to be light to make copies of his weapons. It was also cool to see Sora manipulate magic in a new way with the Storm Flag finisher. I think why I like these form changes so much is because they have strong, fast, and long-reaching attacks, while also showing off really unique animations and attacks. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed, why not consider subscribing or sharing this with someone you think will like it. If you want to see my breakdown on Blizzard Claws and Blizzard Blades, or on second form, click the cards on screen. I also have a Discord server as well as a Twitter, which you can get to by following the links in the description below. See you in the next video.